Welcome back to a crazy little thing called Thought podcast with me, your host Luke Richardson. Now, this is episode 2, named The Secret to Mental Health. Now, the irony being that the secret to mental health is no real secret, to be honest. It's something that is kind of right under our noses all the time. We're just very good at not being able to see it due to the mental activity that goes on within our minds on a moment-to-moment basis. So, if I said to somebody, "You're a thinker, you think," they'd probably respond with, "Yeah, Luke, I know, I think. What's your point?" So, basically, without insulting people's intelligence, people understand that they think. They're not stupid, but I think where the confusion comes from with that is people misunderstand where thinking is amplified, how it's generated. I think people seem to believe that their thinking is molded by events that are going on in the outside world to them. Well, that's not true. The thinking is generated through themselves. Yeah, okay. So humans are thinking creatures. That's all that's going on in our mind on a day-to-day basis. And when you develop an understanding of that, that is the secret to mental health right there, because thought is the link to all mental suffering. It's extremely understandable that someone would look to the outside world and think that, the job is causing them a lot of grief, their relationship isn't going the way they want it to, the kids are pissing me off, my football team lost today, I'm so annoyed. You can go on, can't you? There are so many things in the outside world where people think that is causing their experience, and it's happening all the time, all day, everywhere you look, it's happening. You only need to go to your town centre and see people in their own little bubbles, annoyed about something. The bus service, the service at a restaurant, the weather. There's always an excuse in the outside physical world where people lay the blame to their psychological experience. And when you understand that's not true, when you understand that life is flowing through you, that's the secret to your mental health right there. That's a target. You are much more than insufferable thinking that goes on day in, day out. That might be going in your mind day in, day out. There's an intelligence out there that heals cuts when we've, had an accident chopping food, that makes leaves orange in the autumn, that creates babies. There's an intelligence, and we're part of that intelligence. We just don't see it because of our layers of thought. So we'll just recap what we've discussed on this audio recording so far. The secret to mental health is that we live in a world of thought. All humans do it. I do it. You do it. Your neighbour does it. Your family members do it. Your spouse does it. Your work colleagues do it. And when you understand that's all that's going on, you're totally free, because there's no experience in life that can hurt you, good or bad. That goes for good experiences as well. When you're having a good experience, that's also thinking as well. But we don't obviously get so we don't obviously get so fixated on good feelings and good thoughts because they feel good. We don't ever want to get rid of good thoughts because they feel nice, don't they? It's only the bad ones that it's only that when we have bad thoughts that when we have them, we start to think of it as a problem. And when we identify having bad thoughts as a problem, we start to, think there might be something wrong with us. And that's where the mental suffering, when people's mental suffering comes from. The secret to mental health isn't about having good thoughts all the time. That's near impossible. Thoughts happen so fast. You don't even know what you're going to think one moment to the next. 1 second you could have be feeling on top of the world on cloud nine. The next minute you're down the dumps. We all go through it. It's this, life is not about not having bad thoughts and bad experiences. You were going to get them whether you like it or not. The secret to mental health is understanding. It's understanding that you are healthy, happy, and whole at your core. And when you have these temporary illusions of, uncomfortable experiences, they can't hurt you. You know they're going to pass. You know they can't hurt you, and they're going to pass. And they're not going to last. And, it could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be a day or so. It could be a week. But it's not permanent. It's going to change, and you're going to feel differently. But this is where the lack of understanding comes into this again, because, when that happens, people point to the circumstance that did it. You see, so, if you had a bad experience or bad thoughts, you're likely to, blame something out there on the bad thoughts, like we've said already. But you're also likely to attach a good development in the outside world to how you feel again. That could be, Friday evening, Friday evening, when there's the weekend here, I feel great. It must be because of the weekend. Go back to football again, sports. My favourite football or soccer team won today. I feel on top of the world. My wife made me breakfast in bed this morning. My husband made me breakfast in bed. What a nice thing to do. I feel really good because of that. And here's the thing: I don't know if this is a word or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. The fluidity of thinking is irrespective of what's going on out there. You've got two separate journeys going on. You've got a journey outside of your psyche. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen at work. Things happen at home. That's life. It's happening. Your experience of that, which is going through you internally, is irrespective of what's going on out there. So when you understand that, the two aren't linked in any way, shape, or form. You're free because that in the outside world, it is what it is. Terrible things happen in the outside world. You can't be numb toward that bit. What you can do is, understand that you're not at the mercy of the circumstance. You are free. You are a thinking being that is extremely fluid and changing moment to moment. And that's not linked to outside circumstances. So when you understand that the circumstances aren't riveted to your thinking, that you understand that thinking can flow through you fluidly. You don't have to be burdened by the bad that goes through your mind, because it's temporary and good can come. Good thoughts. Good thought is 1 thought away. You might not be able to physically get there, but who you are, what you are, is something nice, something pure. You are. I'll give you an example. Look at a baby when it's born. A baby's born, and when my kids were born, my two daughters were born, I don't particularly remember them crying when they were born. They were very much at peace, very content. when I had them in my arms, when I was feeding them milk. But they weren't particularly really crying at that point, and that is the essence of life. That's what I'm trying to describe to you just now. That is who we are from the minute we come out of the womb into the physical world. That baby, like my two daughters were, is who we are at our core. That's the way we should be living, in a tranquil state of mind. Now, don't get me wrong, thinking and being conscious, it's a very beautiful thing. What a gift! What a gift we have to be able to think our way through life, through work, through personal circumstances. What a gift! But if it's misused in a sinister sense, is as if we are using it against us, then that's where the sickness starts. Because the creation within our own mind is what's causing the suffering. Now, the title of this podcast is The Secret to Mental Health. It's right under our nose. It never goes anywhere. It's always with us. We just run away from it because of our thinking. Thought is the missing link to all of this. You are much more than your thoughts. You really, really are. This is a beautiful world we live in, and what a shame that, our thinking can sometimes, create an illusion that, we're no good, we're damaged goods. I've been there. I still have times where I get down the dumps, but because my consciousness of this understanding has developed over the last few months, and which is what I'm, so enjoying sharing with you on these podcast audio recordings and YouTube videos, is that I know I'm not at the mercy of that anymore. I go through my day like a roller coaster, and you probably do too. So, I get out of bed, this is a personal thing. This is my personal day, right? So I get out of bed sometimes in the morning, and the first thing I feel sometimes is the anxiety, the physical sensation in my stomach that, something's not quite right. And I could easily pin it on something. I could pin it on the day I've got ahead. I've got this, I've got that, blah, 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 blah. Can't be bothered. I could easily blame the outside world for that. But because my understanding has gone up significantly, I know that I am not riveted to that experience. And lo and behold, get showered, get dressed, have breakfast with the family, and I'm in a different experience to the one where I was waking up. And you might be able to relate to this again yourself. Go to work, you get in the zone. Before you know it, it's lunchtime, and I'm much more comfortable within my own psychological experience. And then the afternoon comes and the evening comes, and again I'm in a much better state of consciousness. Because this is where the lack of understanding comes in. When I woke up, I had a bad start. I had the anxious stomach. I had a few negative thoughts, but because I knew, I had an understanding that thought was the missing link to get back to my mental health. I knew that it was going to change, and I was going to get back to the way I should be, like a newborn baby. Relaxed. Having empathy. Adversity, like water for ducks back, We are all that. We just don't think we're that. I've done a few videos on this before. Resilience is our middle name. We are. If resilience was a word in the dictionary, and you open the dictionary up, and you found the word resilience, the dictionary, the English dictionary or the American dictionary or whatever, should say resilience is... Or is it a thesaurus that describes? It's a long time since I went to school. I tell you. A dictionary or thesaurus, I can't remember which one. I think it's now I'm thinking about. I think dictionary is where. It might be interesting for you to put in the comments. Actually, I think a dictionary is where it describes what the word is. I think thesaurus might be where you find words that mean the same as the words you're looking for. I think that's it. Feel free to write in the comments, but again, that's going away from the point of this video I'm trying to make. So back to the point I'm trying to make. So again, here we go. If resilience was a word in the dictionary, and you opened that dictionary up and you found the word resilience, it should say something like resilience is people having mental health despite the adverse challenges that they think they face on a day-to-day basis. And that's the secret to good mental health. I hope you got a lot out of this first proper podcast audio recording I've done. I'll put the video version on YouTube as well if you prefer to watch the video version more than the audio version. But yeah, I'm going to put this on Spotify podcasts and branch out to other podcast platforms as well. I'm going to upload the video to, as I say, if you prefer to watch videos on your television or on your phone before you go to sleep at night, or in the morning if you just need this video to get a bit of wisdom before your working day. That's great. I plan to do a lot more of these videos. I hope you get a hell of a lot out of them. There's a lot more to come. Yeah, we really are mental health at its finest. We just don't see it. Everyone's got it. There's no one out there. There's the tramp on the street, the CEO in the corporate multi-billion pound business, the teacher, the bin man, the administrator. That's what I do for a living. There's no one out there who doesn't have good mental health at their core. It just comes across as a secret because it's just so hard for people to see if they've got a lot of noise going on in their mind. We are the secret to mental health. Take care. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next podcast. Bye-bye.